Have you ever felt that you're living in a real world matrix where the world is focused on consumption and meaningless activities? And like every time you try to make a change, it's so overwhelming because it's like you wake up, you like suddenly wake up and you look around and you see your whole room is messy with all these things. And just the concept of like moving something is so draining that you just give up and you're like, how am I going to create this life? Forget it. You get a glimpse of that life and you're just like so focused on all this stuff, you can't do it. Well, the fact is, the reason is you're going through an existential vacuum. And what happens is, after a while, you keep avoiding, you're going to go through what they call midlife crisis or an existential crisis. And the reason why I focus a lot on the Gen X generation is this is the time when we're in our 50s, we start feeling like everything is meaningless. Like, why did I do all this work? My kids are growing up. What about me? I feel empty. Why is it I had life before? Well, why is that? We are literally living in a matrix. We are asleep. When you say we're asleep, it's this. When you get so stuck on consumption, like immediate gratification, people can't handle having a little bit of discomfort anymore. They like, oh, I don't feel comfortable. That's the problem. So you don't really have meaning in your life. And so these little things, these soft addictions are actually what's blocking you. But you have to see why you're having them. So these soft addictions can just be like having to, like everybody has it, but like spending way too much time on TikTok or drinking sodas. When you decide like, hey, I want to make these changes, but it's like so many you feel like you need to do, you don't do it. Well, because you don't have a why. And that's what I'm saying is when they say in the matrix, it's like this, we're stuck in our egos. And our egos are our narcissistic core, very self-focused on survival. Yeah, we want to be immediately gratified. We don't want to be uncomfortable, nothing. But see, that's not how human beings are. We're not robots, okay? You'll notice that when you start getting comfortable, something happens. Something happens to change your life. Then you're like, oh crap. And you get up and you have to work hard and you struggle and you strive, and then you get comfortable again and you go right back into your matrix. But it's like, you really don't feel fulfilled inside. And that's because you're not fulfilling your subconscious hunger. You are fulfilling your conscious desires. And the more you do that, the more empty you're going to feel. And the more difficult it's going to be for you to enjoy your life. Well, why? Because you know what? When you're in your ego, when you're in the state, you are so drained that you don't have the energy to move forward because you're coming from fear. And so what I'm going to do is I have my Stop Self-Sabotage Workshop. It's coming up August 30th. It's going to be online on Saturday. It's a 3-hour workshop. What I'm going to do is help you identify these behaviors, help you find out how you're sabotaging yourself and what meaningless activities you've gotten stuck in, and how to start being able to find meaning and shift into your spirit world, at least be able to see it and step into it. I will help you put your feet into it. Right now you can't. Right now it's just your head is peeking out, but your whole body is in the matrix. And there's not enough force to push you forward. Now we have moments that do, and this is what I say, whenever you're afraid, have you noticed that, like you wouldn't do it on your own, but if you know someone's life is at risk or you're forced to, you will. If you know your animal is going to get hurt, your child, you will do it in a second. Why? Because you're coming from love. And that's where I will help you, again, shift from fear to love. And when you're in love, you actually step foot into your spirit world, into where you're supposed to be, not in this false world of the ego. the delusion. Right now, your fantasy world is what you're living in. Your reality is positive and abundant. Don't let your ego fool you. So I'm going to have a live show in about 15 minutes on learning how we're sabotaging some behaviors. And I'm going to have more shows. But find out, please, on the comment section if you have questions. But I will put the link for the Eventbrite and for you to click on. And if you want to know more information on existential crisis and how to find meaning, refer to Dr. Viktor Frankl. See, my whole life shifted when I was 17 years old when I read his book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he spoke about how all you need is you have to know the why. Once you have a why, nothing can stop you. And he used that to survive. If he was able to survive concentration camps for years, watching everybody in his family die and be killed, and for him to starve, and what he chose is to be in a state of love by writing this book, Man's Search for Meaning. That book kept him alive. It kept him to have that will. And he was able to survive being in a concentration camps, lived up until age 94, remarried, and had a wonderful life. That is how powerful it is just to move from a state of fear to love. So let's figure out how you are sabotaging yourself and move forward. Believe me, you don't need to worry so much on the details. Once you know, again, where you're going, where your heart is, these are little things. Don't let them stop you. My name is Mahasti. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a Stop Self-Sabotaging expert, and discerning mystic. And I will bring you into my world, the Discerning Mystics, a space for those of you that want to continue your spiritual growth and to manifest what you want. Find out more. Looking forward to it.